Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we've got this really critical document in front of us. It's basically a guide designed to change how you look at that pile of resumes on your desk. Our mission today, to give you a fast, comprehensive way to screen job candidates effectively. We want to help you turn that stack of paper into, well, a much more efficient filter to minimize those really costly hiring mistakes. And we're not just talking about, checking if they have the right degree or the listed skills. We're really pushing for a risk mitigation mindset here. Think about vetting a candidate almost like doing serious due diligence before a big business deal.
Exactly. Because hiring the wrong person, it's often cited as maybe the single most expensive mistake a growing company can make.
Yeah, it's like a breach of expectation, isn't it? A bit like a contract going sour.
That's the shift in perspective we really want to highlight for you, the listener. We're going beyond just the basics. We're looking for 10 specific, maybe less obvious indicators of real professionalism, and crucially, assessing the actual benefit that candidate could bring to your specific company structure.
Okay, let's unpack this guide then. We've got these 10 focus checks. Think of them as red flags and green lights to help you sort the top talent from, well, potential liabilities fast. Let's start with the stuff you notice right away the second you open that document. So check number 1. How readable is this thing? It sounds incredibly basic, right?
It does, but the source material is really adamant about this. A sloppy resume, that's a fast track to the no pile.
Yeah, we're talking about the structure, the flow, grammar issues, spelling errors, all of it.
And incoherent thoughts, too.
Right. If they can't proofread arguably the most important document of their professional life at that moment.
What does that really say about their attention to detail once they're actually on the job?
Exactly.
And what's interesting here is how often maybe we forgive these little mistakes. We think, oh, well, they're not applying to be an editor. It's fine.
Yeah, I've probably done that.
But this guide really emphasizes that clarity isn't just nice to have. It's like a professional mandate. A resume should work like a perfectly drafted statement of work, no ambiguity.
Okay.
And definitely no excessive jargon just to hide potential skill gaps.
So if the language sounds impressive but doesn't actually say anything concrete.
That's a deep red flag. Absolutely.
Okay, building on that point then. Check 2 is about being concise yet compelling. The guide really hammers this home. Stop viewing the resume as a life story.
Yeah.
For most candidates, unless you're talking senior executives, 1 page is usually enough. Really should be.
Yeah.
1 page is plenty. But the question is, how do you make that 1 page count?
Right. How do you maximize it?
You maximize it by prioritizing hard numbers over, irrelevant fluff. That's the critical test here. We need to see candidates using data to actually prove their impact. Look, anyone can write responsible for improving team efficiency. That's just fluff.
Yeah, means nothing.
We need to see something like cut average turnaround time for client reports by 35%.
Okay.
Through implementing a new CRM system, saving the department, say, $40,000 annually.
Ah, okay. That's instantly more compelling. It shows they understand impact, they understand measurement.
Precisely.
That kind of measurable result is like a really tight service level agreement, isn't it? They committed, they delivered.
Exactly. And that leads us right into check number 3. Is the resume actually tailored to your specific job posting?
Oh, this is a big one.
It is. If a candidate just blasts out a generic, copy-paste resume to 20 different jobs.
Low effort.
It shows low investment, low focus. They're just playing the numbers game.
But the moment a candidate takes that extra time to tweak the language, maybe highlight specific relevant skills, and clearly spell out how they benefit your business, your specific needs.
Yeah.
That feels like the ultimate sign of intent, right? They aren't just looking for a job, they're targeting this job. That's it. They've done their homework. Okay, so once we sort of established that professional foundation, that focus, the next phase is really about verifying the claims themselves, especially the career path. So check 4. Does the resume show realistic and progressive career growth?
Right. You want to see that upward mobility, don't you? Whether it's mastering new skills in the same company.
Or maybe moving to a new firm for a more advanced role.
Stagnation. Just staying put, doing the same thing for years without demonstrable growth.
Yeah.
That can be a serious red flag if you're hiring for potential.
Absolutely. Stagnation might mean the candidate wasn't really acquiring new skills at the rate you'd expect or need. But here's the caveat, and it's important. We also need to be a bit wary of the sort of meteoric rise.
Ah, okay. Too fast.
Yeah. If a candidate claims they jumped from, say, entry level to director in 18 months in a pretty established field, you really have to verify that.
Dig into that a bit.
You have to. That advancement needs to follow a realistic, verifiable path. Just like you'd expect a business partnership to mature over time, not just explode overnight.
That's really good context. Speaking of time, Check 5 focuses on employment gaps. Now, pre-pandemic, I think for many recruiters, a gap was almost an instant no.
That view is definitely becoming outdated. As the source points out, gaps in, say, 2020, 2021, they're pretty common now. And often understandable, depending on the industry, obviously.
Right.
The real focus shouldn't just be on the existence of the gap itself, but more on the candidate's proactive explanation for it.
Okay, so what were they doing?
Exactly. Did they use that time for upskilling, volunteering, maybe family reasons? We just need that explanation up front.
But what about repeated gaps?
Yeah.
Say, outside of those exceptional couple of years?
Well, that could signal a pattern. Maybe underperformance, maybe trouble holding down a job.
A negative cycle?
Potentially, a cycle that could repeat within your organization. So if you're really focused on minimizing risk,
Yeah.
recurrent unexplained gaps are definitely something to look at closely. They're alarming.
Okay, now let's move on to check 6. Are there obvious exaggerations or inconsistencies? This is where the detective work really starts, I suppose.
Yeah.
You need to be alert if a candidate lists, like, every single skill you mentioned in your job posting,
Mm-hmm.
even if some of those skills don't really seem to align logically with their actual previous work history.
Yeah, or if they claim expertise in some obscure software that, their last employer didn't even use.
Right, or the title mismatch.
Exactly. They state their title was senior manager, but maybe a quick check shows they were listed as a coordinator. That kind of inconsistency just erodes trust immediately.
Yeah.
When we check for contract compliance, we verify claims against documented history, right? Here, it's similar. We verify the claims against the realistic structure of their own career story.
Okay, and finally for this section, check 7. What does their online presence tell you? Specifically about culture fit. This goes beyond just LinkedIn, right? We're talking maybe Quora, GitHub for tech roles, personal blogs, professional Twitter accounts.
Yeah, absolutely. This is critical for assessing two main things: their professional reach, maybe their network, and that crucial culture fit. Their public activity can give you easy access to their written posts, maybe industry contacts they interact with, and importantly, their professional values.
So does their public persona, the way they present themselves online, does it align with the role they're actually applying for?
That's the question.
I feel like this insight serves a similar purpose to, say, doing a quick review of a potential business partner's reputation before you sign a high-stakes deal.
That's a great analogy. It's about gathering all the available relevant data points you can to build a more comprehensive picture of who this person is, especially when they're not in that formal interview setting. All right, let's talk boundaries now. Check number 8. Is there too much irrelevant personal information just cluttering up the resume?
Ah, yeah. The goal is always to assess their ability to do the actual job.
Right.
So any personal information really needs to apply directly to the role, or maybe provide some genuine relevant character insight.
Otherwise, yeah, too much irrelevant detail might just signal that a candidate is trying to compensate for maybe a lack of tangible professional experience, padding it out.
Okay, so how do you apply that relevance test? Give us an example.
Okay, well, think about this. If a bookkeeper lists their hobby as collecting rare dolls, that information is almost certainly irrelevant to their financial acumen.
Probably, yeah.
However, if a candidate applying for, say, an environmental role includes their experience leading a local sustainability drive.
Okay, that feels different.
It is. Or if a developer lists their contributions to an open source project, that provides relevant insight into their passion, their initiative, outside of just a formal job.
Got it. And things like marital status or family size?
Almost always irrelevant to job ability. Best left off entirely.
Okay. Moving on to check 9, which feels like a really underrated metric. Does the candidate highlight any company or maybe industry recognitions? Awards.
Yes. Awards can demonstrate those vital soft skills, teamwork, dedication, problem solving that, hard skills on their own just can't prove.
True. But just listing an award isn't enough, is it?
No, absolutely not. We need context for those awards.
Right.
The candidate really needs to include the official title of the recognition, the date it was given, and crucially, what specific accomplishments the award actually recognized. Was it just Employee of the Month for one random quarter?
Or
Or was it Best Performer for maybe 3 years running? That tells a very different story.
Right. That sustained effort is key. Consistent internal awards probably indicate a strong, measurable work ethic.
hmm And maybe civic awards could show commitment to community impact or leadership skills, which might be really valuable insight for more senior roles.
But if they just list won an award in 2022, full stop.
That's pretty meaningless, yeah. We need the story behind the win. Context is everything. And finally, check 10. How are they handling references? Because this whole process has really changed quite radically in the last few years.
Yeah, mostly due to privacy concerns, security issues, right?
Exactly.
You very rarely see references listed directly on the resume itself anymore.
You shouldn't really.
And the reason is simple.
Yeah.
The candidate ends up distributing their referee's personal contact info way too widely, often unnecessarily.
Right. The modern protocol is much simpler and frankly more respectful of everyone's privacy. The candidate should proactively line up maybe 3 or 4 referees they know will speak well of them,
Okay.
but the employer should only request that separate referee list, usually via email, right at the final stages of selection, not up front.
Got it. So this verification process is really the ultimate moment of due diligence.
It absolutely is. Just like a contract manager verifies the credentials and, the reliability of a potential business partner before they sign the deal. You must verify the candidate's professional story before that offer letter actually goes out.
It confirms everything.
It confirms compliance, essentially, with everything you've checked in the preceding 9 steps. It ties it all together. Hashtag tag outro.
So wrapping this all up, what does it mean? We've outlined these 10 specific, sometimes subtle, key indicators of professionalism you really need to scrutinize. By applying this kind of rigorous 10-point checklist, you're moving beyond just standard HR screening. You're adopting a genuine risk management strategy to help eliminate those potentially poor candidates and hire the top talent you can hopefully retain for the long term.
Yeah, the key takeaway really is the need for deep scrutiny right at the very beginning of the talent pipeline. It's about being thorough from day one. This structured approach may be combined later with things like automation for onboarding or performance management, which our source material also touched on. It helps streamline the entire process. It ensures only the highest quality candidates, the ones who meet these standards, actually make it through that initial funnel.
So you're reducing risk by demanding clarity and compliance right from the get-go.
That's the idea. Clarity and compliance from day one.
Well, thanks for letting us take this deep dive into your source material today. We really hope these 10 checks make your next hiring round significantly more robust, more effective. And here's a final thought for you to maybe mull over. If vetting just one potential employee properly requires checking for things like tailored language, realistic progression, hard data, and even digital compliance, how effectively are you applying that same level of crucial, sustained due diligence to the other high-stakes partnerships and agreements, the ones that really shape the financial and operational structure of your entire business? Something to think about until next time.